Hello, my name is Jake Tween and I'm DSW's Head of Apprenticeship Services. We've recorded this short video for apprentices who are on their apprenticeship programme and are nearing the end, and you're starting to think now about that endpoint assessment. So I'm here to tell you a little bit more about that, what we would call EPA, when it happens, what's involved and what resources are there to help you to prepare to have a good experience and also a positive outcome. So endpoint assessment itself is designed by a group of employers who we'd call a trailblazer group. Now that group of employers gets together for a particular occupation within a particular sector or industry, and they'll come up with an apprenticeship standard. And that apprenticeship standard tells you essentially what knowledge, skills and behaviours those employers think that somebody needs to be declared competent within that occupation. And the endpoint assessment is the last part of your apprenticeship program, where an organization like DSW will come in and will carry out that series of assessments against those knowledge, skills and behaviors to make a judgment as to whether or not our assessor feels that you're occupationally competent and you're ready to be qualified within that particular job role. So endpoint assessment is different for each individual standard. So there will be a particular set of rules and requirements for the apprenticeship you're studying. And so for that reason, I would very much encourage you to speak to your training provider or to your line manager to find out a little bit more about the specific EPA that you're working towards. But there are some key principles that are involved, which I'll cover off now, which really will help you to prepare and have a good outcome. So first and foremost is to be aware of what we would call a toolkit. So for each of the apprenticeships that DSW assesses, we've provided a toolkit, and that really is your Bible, if you like. It's your specification as to what's involved in that EPA. So there might be different assessment methods involved. For example, some will have a multiple choice exam that you would take online. Some may have a portfolio of evidence. Some will require you to complete a work-based project and write up a report. And most of the endpoint assessments will have either a professional discussion or an interview, which will be held online using Zoom or similar video conferencing between yourself and that independent endpoint assessor. And that usually will be based upon projects and portfolios of work that you've put together and presented to them in advance. So what I would say is that endpoint assessment isn't something to be scared of. It is something to be taken seriously because, it needs a lot of preparation to get it right. But there aren't any kind of curveball questions in those interviews. There's nothing in there that's designed to catch you out as an apprentice. All we're seeking to do is to find out what kind of work you've been doing, how you applied yourself in that, what you learned from that experience and how you've developed throughout your apprenticeship. So provided you use the support that's available and provided that you take time to prepare for your assessment, it will be a positive experience and you should also get a good outcome from it. Each endpoint assessment is graded as well. So not only can you pass, but you can also claim a distinction. So again, there's a good incentive there for you to put in that prep work. Now, the assessor who will carry out the endpoint assessment, it will be one person. And they will be employed by DSW as the government appointed endpoint assessment organisation. And that person will be an expert in the field. So the occupation that you're studying towards, they will be an experienced expert in that job, but also they will be an expert in vocational and work-based assessment. So you can trust that person in terms of the judgments that they'll make. That they'll be accurate and they'll be valid judgments. Furthermore, when we train and develop those assessors, we very much have the apprentice experience in mind and at the heart of what we do. So please rest assured that it's not going to be a scary experience. That person's, they're going to be warm and accommodating, and they're going to try their very best to put you at ease at the beginning of that assessment experience, because ultimately we want you to perform well and we want to see the best version of you on the day. So that was a very brief introduction. If you check out DSW's YouTube channel, we do have individual videos as well that are tailored towards each individual apprenticeship standard. So if you're working towards a particular standard, do check the website out and see if there's some information on there that might help you. But again, I would urge you to read the toolkit because it's a really valuable resource, but also to work closely with your training provider and your skills coach or talent coach, because they do know that assessment inside out, and they are the very best kind of first port of call for any questions that you might have. So lastly, I just wanted to say very best of luck. And I hope you do have a good assessment experience. I hope you have a good outcome, and I hope it does really great things for your career in the future as well. Thank you very much.